Yeah.
Since you can go here and help me sometime, and then see how you come on that for us. No, that's fine. Just so I got the number, that's free.
Okay, so.
So he's working with
What's that? He's I got it. You maybe can't afford to get it. You maybe can't afford to get it. We talked about 26.
Anything,
It's maybe negotiable.
which I think for criminal prosecution.
Yeah, and he does say with
Because we have, this is everything we have to do, so that's why
it's better than it was. I went to the eye doctor just to be sure.
Yeah.
All right, it's 9 o'clock, call meeting to order with pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, and entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded to approve the agenda as presented. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. A couple items to take care of before Kate gets down here. Amy Hollauer, who is the Jackson County, she's going to resign from Jackson County Health Department, and so she will also be stepping down from her role as Jackson County Public Health Department. She is, I think everybody got this, she has made a recommendation of the appointment of Ally Meyer. I think we probably need to check with Ally and make sure that this is, she was going to want this. So, Christie, if you could get a hold of Ally sometime and make sure that this is something she wants, we have 2 weeks to get this done. So, we need a motion to approve her resignation.
Yes.
Okay, I'd entertain a motion to approve the resignation of Amy Hollauer with regrets. Thank her for her work.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to approve the resignation of Amy Hollauer with regrets and thank her for her service to Jackson County for the last, what did she say, 20 years? That was in the other email. So yeah, it's been a long time. So we do appreciate her work for the county.
Yeah.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. We have, last week it was reported that Clara Lovern has volunteered to be the, serve on the board for the Northeast Kansas AAA for Jackson County. We have her resume here, and I need a motion to appoint Clara Ann Lovern to the Northeast Kansas AAA.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's probably moving second to approve the appointment of Clara Ann Lovern to Northeast Kansas AAA. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Payroll notice change here for Kathleen Wesley for the Register of Deeds office for seasonal temp work for 12 weeks, no benefits. This is in the budget? Okay.
What's she gonna be on?
Seasonal temp work for 12 weeks.
Right, but, no.
Did she have any application?
And we do have some tax abatements here. We'll take care of.
Good morning.
Mark Gage.
People fast. Looks like somebody's here already.
I just heard Bridge, you're not here till quarter after, so you go ahead.
This is just the bids that I got for the printer. How do you want to look at? Care to look at all the bids?
No, you know what you need, so.
You've gone through them, they're all apples to apples type
Yep,
things.
so that's what's showing right there. We're currently using Century Business. We've been using them for over a decade. The customer service is phenomenal. So this old machine that is obsolete now, like it's discontinued, and we asked them if they could come in and do kind of a tune-up on it, because we know that that printer is going somewhere else. They came in and repaired a little piece and made it all good. So it is ready to go and is good. So
Does it have any value, or are we gonna trade it, sell it?
That's the one that's gonna go down to the zoning office.
Oh, okay.
So that's why we purchase outright, because one, it makes financial sense just to do that, and then we keep it. This printer should probably last a couple years. The last one that we had, we kept it for another, as a backup.
Is this a large scale printer, or is it just a normal?
This is just a normal copier, printer, fax machine.
Okay, thanks.
So my recommendation would be to keep Century. and
It's low
do that.
bid. We go with Century, low bid, 8,000, well, yeah, 8,000. 108.55 is purchase price.
One second.
Okay, it's been probably moved and seconded to approve the purchase of a copier for the appraiser's office from Century for the amount of $8,108.55. Any further discussion? I just had one question. The annual service contract, is that through the life of the lease or license? Is that through the life of the purchase, or how you do that?
The
The
service
annual
contract.
service contract?
That's just the annual service contract, so that is for them to come and do any repairs, maintenance.
Is the price going to be the
tires.
same throughout the life, or is that going
Yes.
to raise or not?
So if we have any overages, then we'll pay for the overages like we do.
Okay,
But it's good. for-
Yes.
It's the same price for years
Yes.
one as it is 5.
Yes.
okay. Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign, motion carried.
Time is a red line. Second, it's just, I'm sorry. Talking about that, 10 o'clock.
Okay. So I'll go back down for that,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Morning, Ellie.
Good morning.
All right, guys, order up. What you got?
A few weeks ago, you guys were asking about the KDOT specs on the rock. Got information back from Soldier on their rock. It does meet specs if you guys want to.
It does meet specs.
Yes, it does.
Good.
For compaction and base rock. Mid states, like Lindsay, when I called her, she was on her way to a funeral in Arizona, so I never back anything back from her. So I can touch base with her again.
What about Atchison?
Nothing there either.
But you have reached out to them?
On that part, no. On that.
I'd reach out to them too, since we are getting some rock from them, so just so we can cover our bases and make sure that, you know, when questions are asked, we can say, yep, here it is right here, so.
And that addresses the hardness of the gravel.
KDOT spec is on the whatever, that's where I got it.
If we can get that to Christie, and then I'd like a copy of that, and then.
I did inquire about mid-states, and I was told that the state would test it twice a year.
Yeah.
The durability of it.
Yeah, if you can just get something from Atchison.
You can ask about
The GPS stuff, I got the quotes back from CAD, from John Deere. CAT is, you'd be looking at $387 per unit, plus $72 per year per unit.
387 per unit?
Yep.
And that's for putting something new on, but it's already on the grader, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So,
And then the annual, there's an annual.
$72.
That's
John
per
Deere.
machine.
Per machine. So John Deere was $475 per unit, and no charge for the annual.
No charge for annual?
Right.
Okay.
And do we know that these units that we're putting on, and you said John Deere was 4 or something?
$475.
You know, do they have to be updated annually?
He said once in a while, it's hard to probably have to update them, not it wouldn't be.
And that's something we have the ability to do?
He
Or
said they would do that. He said
remotely?
it would be about half the cost. If they had to replace a module, they'd work with us, and it'd be about half the cost of what is actually here. Because it's not really our fault, but you go to 5G, 6G, 7, whatever is next.
Well, with the cap, 387 a year plus 72, that's 459 a year versus 475. So, just leave that, clear that out here.
That'd be one-time deal.
No, I understand that, yeah.
472 would be at one time.
475 would be a one-time thing. Yeah.
Well, I think it's 472.
No, 475.
But then for the $72 a year, I would guess that it would be their responsibility to come out and work on it and do whatever they need to do. So,
What is this? Yes, that's the warranty, you have to say that. I don't know.
I would want to check that and make sure, but I'm going to presume that that's the case.
Well, it's a software service, isn't it? I mean, they're charging you for the equipment thing.
Yeah.
And that's, once you get that, that's probably got its own warranty. And then all they're doing is software service, sending information back and forth. Right?
But how often I mean, according to John Deere, they're not having to do that very often, right?
Software updates,
Yeah.
not, that sound,
Yeah, it would be if 5G went to 6G or something like that, you have to upgrade the thing.
And there is a cost for that.
yeah, he said he'd look where this would be about half the cost of the, that's what it's set 475, he said about half the cost of that.
Probably passing on the cost of the bandwidth with the cell provider for the most part.
This would be on, at this point in time, we would do graders only.
That's your old call.
No, I mean, can it be put on the dump trucks also?
Yes.
It's already, it should already be on the graders from my understanding. I mean, everything should be there.
I'm asking about the dump trucks.
Yeah, the dump trucks is what this
Right.
475 or 387 per
Okay.
vehicle
We don't
would be.
have, we don't have to put it on any, the cat graders we would have to.
Going to John Deere.
Well, like
yeah.
the John Deere, if we went with John Deere,
If you went with John Deere, I believe there is a model that would have to go on the category.
Okay.
And
So-
so I do know, like, when I'm talking to these guys, I knew that JD, Link, and CAT communicates between each other also.
that would be a question I'd want to know.
Yeah.
If we don't have to, that's great, we just put them on the
Yeah,
dump truck.
Yeah, 10 units should be safe.
So it'd be, is there, how many 10-wheelers and dump,
You've got, what we have it on right now, it's on with 5 10-wheelers and 4 semis.
9 total.
9.
And what have we found out about Samsara?
I don't know.
So that's,
Next question.
well, I looked at the contract. Right now, what they have is the only thing that I saw in the agreements that I had in my file was this one. There was no hardware charge to it. It was just software. It was a 36-month term at $15,000 something a year. The terms themselves don't, it doesn't say you can cancel. The standard provisions you attach to these say you can't 60 days before the anniversary date. So we're beyond that for, I guess if you take it from 3/24, I don't know when they shipped. Or,
Well, it took, we didn't actually get them all hooked up until, oh man, it was
It was in
October.
October. Yes.
It was waiting on cables and,
well, that's the question of when the anniversary date is. This says it was approved 3/24, so it's kind of going on that as being the date. So if it actually is a different date, then
Can you go back and look through your emails and see when? Because I know that there was a whole, they were supposed to come, then they didn't come, and then they shipped some stuff, then they didn't ship some stuff. There was a whole convoluted
wrong
mess.
cables.
Yes.
this says the license term for the software licenses, which apparently all you have, begins on the day Samsara activates the applicable Samsara software license by providing you a claim number and access to the hosted software.
And that would have been sometime in October, if I remember correctly.
Well, I'm assuming there's got to be some email where they said, here's your, we show you having access and here's your claim number.
Yeah,
Okay, well, that would be if we're still 60 days out from that, we can just terminate it that way. The other way is non-appropriation, which I think I said last time was not a great option.
Yeah.
Kind of got to seriously not be able to pay them. I think you're able to pay them.
I had thought there was a provision in there though that I could have sworn that there was a provision in there that said that if they could not get the two systems talking correctly,
Well, yeah, and
so
all
you
I
have to
got
check your
is,
file and make sure what you have on that too.
because all I got is, at least as far as what I saw, was this which just seems to be pretty standard stuff. There wasn't any mention at all of STAR program, integration, what they're gonna do back and forth, and what I had. So if there was something that they had back and forth about that, you know, I didn't see it for what I had.
I'm going back to some old emails here real quick, see if I see anything.
The original contract that had all that stuff in it, you don't still have that, or?
I'd have to look for it.
Yeah.
Because normally we turn all that stuff over. To the side. Go from there.
The only thing that I see here in my emails with Matt Lima is when I asked the question about whether we were getting charged for the gateway between Samsara and Stars, and if it needed to be pulled out until the system is operational, and he answered back, there is no extra fee or charge for that. But we still don't have it, so even though we were guaranteed it would be here. So,
I have a quote here, I'm looking through it. It's 10 modules, yeah.
I think that's the same one.
and I see some of it, the date on one of the emails saying things will be operational in August, I believe. So,
Move on.
You can also just ask them. Just, it might, I hesitate to do that, because they take that as a, but you can.
Okay, contact, I got the rest of the tubes here last week, so that order's all completed, from them. Pretty quick. Had Nate Anderson, with, Scotland Industries stop by last week. He's our new sales guy for that. And I told him, we'd be getting the bid put together and sent out here in the next couple of weeks. And was telling, about the half rate that, Ray had always talked about, switching to the half rate. And he says, we don't recommend doing that. So I don't know if that's just salesman talking, wanting to sell more products, or we can actually, do that, so.
I thought that's what they've always sat here and said, is
Well,
you could go to half rate after X amount of years.
Right, that's what Greg told us, so like I said, this guy's new enough, he didn't even have business cards yet, so.
Okay.
I know, so, thought I'd reach out to his higher up and talk to them a little bit about it. See where we're at.
Well, I mean, six one, half does the other. I believe, there was consensus of the group. We're still gonna go ahead and do the half rate and try it and see what it looks like.
Okay.
Is that not what we kind of left that?
Well, I want to wait for additional information. I mean, if putting half rate on, if they say that it's not, you're not going to do anything, it's not going to be effective, I'm not sure it's a good idea to put a half rate on because you're just wasting money. I'd like to hear from their.
I would agree with you, but like I said, for the 3 years that I've sat here, they've sat here and said that.
No, I
half
understand.
rate's the
I
way to
understand
go
that.
after
Yeah.
about a year, so.
I do, but was it wrong information from them?
True.
So I'd like, before I make a decision, I'd like to know the truth, if we can get to that. Is half rate effective on roads that have already had applications in the past? If so, great. Show us some data on that, people that you've done that with already. If it isn't recommended by their company, then I think put half rate on is a waste of time.
Well, I would agree with you. Like I said, I'm just going off past information what we had
Yeah, I know.
discussed or what we had talked about earlier. So, yeah, talk to your higher ups and see if the salesman just doesn't have his facts right. Go from there.
Okay. Also got a note or email the other day from Pot County over here. They've got a bridge over on 142 that's in Pot County that would affect us because, 142 runs right over there to 63. It's like $2.1 million operation that we're talking about trying to replace this bridge with funding for it. It won't be until 2027. And he's asked me to write a letter, which I've started on, just how that would impact us and how important it is to get that bridge replaced. So I guess it's in bad shape now, so it's on their poor condition from this time. So anyway, just an update there. Also, back in 23, the state talked to us about using our roads for a detour for 63 to replace two bridges over there by Emmett,
Right.
over the creek and over the railroad. I hear there is talk of that again. So, again, I don't know how that will affect this 142 bridge. It's not really my problem, but it is my problem if they still want to detour over on us like they were before.
And so, as part of that conversation, both with the state and Pot County, if you're going to detour traffic onto us, I don't know if Pot County would have to, but if the state is, are they going to help with
Originally, they said yes.
first checking all bridges on the detour that can handle all semi-traffic, and then B, what they'll do for gravel and upkeep.
Right. And before it was a yes that they said they would.
Okay.
Again, that was 3 years ago.
Yeah, been a while.
Things changed.
Yeah.
So anyway, just all
Thank you.
the know. Tribe roads and bridges. I haven't heard any response back from that letter that I sent.
As far as the cost share for the inspection and everything?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. So have nothing there. And then are we going to continue maintaining the roads down
At this point, you mean the roads
there that are tribe roads or BIA roads, or are we going to continue?
At this point, I would say yes, we have to continue because those are our roads.
Okay.
I'd like to see if there's any way we can have some sort of conversation back and forth about responsibility. Because based on the information that you have, the BIA says they're their roads
Correct.
to maintain.
Correct.
Okay, so if they're not going to respond road and bridge to road and bridge, let's approach it from attorney to attorney. And thoughts on that?
I know, I'm in 100% agreement on that,
So-
but it's still going to be our responsibility until we get an answer back to go ahead and maintain.
For sure.
Well, I'm going to slice and dice the responsibility a little bit in the sense that I think you guys are responsible likely for public safety
Correct.
in that maintaining it for the purposes of danger to the public is I don't know, I assume that's a higher,
And at this
higher standard than what you do.
And at this point, it's just the right thing to do, to maintain it until, we don't want to just leave it, let it go to waste. It does no one any good. And so, my thoughts are, start keeping track, and dollar-wise, so that you have a spreadsheet. And then, I guess if you guys are all right with it, I'd like to have our attorney send Darren, I think is their attorney, maybe?
We're gonna call him.
Perfect.
I think I sent him a letter.
I thought you did.
Call him and say, can there be any communication on the bridges and the road maintenance? If not, we're just, I don't know, send him a bill? I mean, I don't know what else to do when somebody won't communicate. We want to communicate. We want to have a conversation to work this through, but it just seems expensive to involve attorneys. I like you, but
I know.
you're expensive.
And I don't know that there's not every answer is a legal answer.
Right.
As loath I am to admit it.
But I agree with you, Mark, that I think the right thing to do for the public is we have to keep maintaining them. Have you reached out to BG to the exact dollar amount to get these bridges inspected that we need to have?
We've already hired, Elite Engineering.
Elite, okay,
To come in and do that,
okay,
and his estimate's around 50,000 for bridges.
okay.
He stopped by the other day and picked up all my files that I had on the 9 bridges that we got files on. There's some that we don't have files on.
Do you guys think it's important that we just go ahead and get that done?
Oh, yeah,
And battle the other part
I thought
later?
I thought that's what we decided last week, to get
Okay.
bridges inspected.
Okay.
Yeah, we have to do that. I mean, there are ways around it. But
Because,
then it comes down to the fact that if they say this needs worked on now, and it's gonna cost X amount of dollars,
Right.
and that's when the.
that's when you make
sign
the
the vote.
decision whether to put
Yeah.
flows up.
Yeah,
But yeah, I'd just like somebody from the tribe who has the authority to speak for them to have a conversation with us about how we're gonna work through this issue.
And that's why I keep bringing it up, because
Yeah, I appreciate
it's getting
that.
old.
yeah.
So,
No, we can't let this
yeah,
go.
you can call Darren and have a conversation, and if you would email us and Scott and let us know how that conversation went, that would be great.
The conversation is, DI has these lined out. Are you going to take on the responsibility, or are you not? And if not, are you going
Compensate.
to financially compensate the county for doing the work? And if the answer to both those is no, I guess that's a discussion we have to have. Yeah.
I would, thank you.
Okay, Matt got with us this morning at our meeting. First off, you guys get your email or all the
I did.
We still talked last week. Our rock budget, we're down to $786,602.95, and we've got like 4 days worth of tickets that have not been turned in.
786, what?
786-602.95. Like I said, we've got about 4 days worth of tickets that have not been turned in. Down at 82nd in Topeka Boulevard, there's a gentleman that contacted Matt, and he's got like 20 to 25 dump truck loads of oversized rock. He built a pond on a rock ledge, so this is virgin rock, and we would really like to have that. It's free, except for us coming to get it loaded. So, is there also permission? I'd like to make that happen.
Is it rock that has to be broken up?
No, he said there's some big chunks, some small chunks, and the guy Matt said there's 3 piles.
It's like
And
Red
Matt,
Mountain.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Matt's looked at it.
yes.
Okay. So we'd use it for dish lining around bridges.
That or down at the 118 B, where that That's left
Yep.
off there, that'd be a great place to put some of that.
Okay.
So like I said,
I have no problem going, if it's free and he wants it out there, I have no problem. going
Will we
down
haul it to the Hoyt site since that's closest?
it could go there or down here to Bridge Yard, we'll find someplace for it. It could go out to the landfill, if you don't like it.
I'm just trying to think of the shortest distance to haul it that's centrally located.
Yeah,
Coming through town with it doesn't seem like the,
yeah.
I would think out at the landfill or some at the Hoyt
Right.
site.
It's got that east side of the creek there,
Yeah,
you know, there's water runoff.
Yeah.
The east side there, we're piling up everything.
right.
No, I think that'd be a great deal, so.
Okay. Right. Bryson, they got that excavator put back together. He's wanting to come in and cut that thumb and stuff off, so we don't run into that problem again. Cat looked at it when they were out here the other day, and they said it is aftermarket stuff, so even if we went back and put a cat thumb on it, we'd have to replace all that stuff there anyway. So, doesn't have to be put off right now. We just thought while it was in there, it's really good.
Well, if it's in there and we're getting ready to use it and everything, I'd soon get it done right now, that we would have to run into this problem again.
And we've also decided not to put the mulch head on at this point because, I mean, basically gonna run it for a few weeks and then here we are, we'll need it for other work.
Is it that difficult to put on?
It takes about half a day or so. Like I said, we didn't gain much out of it.
Do you have places that you could run it?
Few, you know, like I said, we usually try to hit that in the fall.
Since it was down.
Also got that barrel bed, you know, it's got the motor that's bad in it, so he's gonna be going in and start working on it probably next week sometime. We put it off last year with his money. So he's,
And so you do have funds for that set aside, or?
yes.
Okay.
He is estimating, well, before I think we was estimating around 15,000. He said, but the price looking more like possibly 25.
And who's gonna rebuild it?
They said they can do all work here.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Chip and seal. Basically, what I think we figured was going to take out Q Road 190 to 226. And that would leave Q4 Road 234 to 286 and 214P to R5. So totals 90 miles. So that would try to match up to our budget, what we budgeted for this year. We talked to Vance Brothers again the other day. They came out about that micro covering, and what we decided to do is we'll just go ahead and get the bid like this, these miles here, and he says that, and that's something too, is he said they can come in and put this stuff over chip and seal or come up to where they can stop at. So whoever gets the bid, hopefully Vance will get it, and then they can just do the chip and seal and the micro all at the same time. You know, if not, we would probably want to cut back these miles and do, you know, 3 miles less on one of these roads and do half of the chip and seal and then half of the micro Vance roads. Right. Probably for the bid, we just go ahead and send it out for the full 9 miles. So trying to complicate things.
So you're thinking you only want to do a half mile?
No, I'd like to do about 3 miles.
You said you'd do a half mile of the chip and seal, and then the other half.
If we stick to these roads right here, you take about 3 miles out of the 9
Okay.
and do the micro.
Okay.
That explains it.
idea was the half mile, one half mile of the other, but you're saying,
Out of these 9 total miles, we take 3 miles out and do the micro there instead of Jimson. Like I said, it'd be, hopefully Vance will come in at a decent price where we can use them for the whole thing instead of having to go back to one of these guys and say, okay, we're gonna shorten up your trip and seal 3 miles. And then, it's micro on the other 3. Make sense? And then the last thing I got is our annual weed report that needs some signatures. Green tabs around.
How did that go at the conference? Was that last week?
Our meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah, real good.
Good.
A lot of compliments on the building out there. Where people go around, take pictures of it. Or banner.
oh, banner.
Yeah, we had it out there. Everything worked out real nice.
Is there anything in here that stands out that I need to be aware of, or
It's just the standard
standard?
stuff we do every year. How much came up to the soul and how much we got back and
Yeah.
what's carried over the what funds.
Noxious weed, recycling and noxious weed are both state mandated, correct? Or just noxious weed?
Just not just weed.
Recycling we do as a service for the community,
Correct.
and it typically does not make money, it
Correct.
costs. Noxious weed typically,
It's still cost you money because we do the cost share.
correct,
It won't be as much this year because we're going to the,
increase.
the handling and sort of charges there.
But the landfill, again, is mandated, or we keep it open as a service.
Service.
Okay.
You have regulations you have to follow.
Hang on here.
And at the landfill, we break even or make a little.
We make a little.
Yeah.
If you
So would the landfill be considered solid waste planning?
yes.
Then solid waste planning is a cost of state required services provided by the county per KEC.
Okay.
So,
Yes.
Just check.
yeah, I mean, that's on the list from KEC that, yeah. I just don't want there to be any
Right.
miscommunication on that, to know we don't have to do it, but we are doing it, so.
But to answer your question, yes, we kind of break even on it. When you figure my salary and Darlene's salary portion of it out of that, then we try to hold it. So as far as salaries were out of that, we make the money.
Could you send that? Sure. Yeah, the few so that they have that.
Did you guys have any roads or anything?
Yes, I didn't have any roads, but I got a question. I was looking at going through bills on Friday, and there was a bill in there for one of the trucks. Good deal. And it was for simple things that, did we ever buy a scanner for the trucks, for the pickups?
What?
A scanner?
Oh, scanner?
Yes.
No, we do not.
Why? We talked about this last year, that we needed to get one for,
Well,
Oil
it was
tank.
gonna cost like $6,000 for it.
no, the scanner that I use at home for $170 tells me everything that I need to know to get me pointed in the right direction. Scanner pack, plugged air filter, so on and so forth.
Okay.
I'm saying you can go out to O'Reilly's and get one right now for $160, and it will point you in the direction that you need to go before we spend, what was it, $700 some dollars?
$600 some dollars
Yeah.
across the board on that.
We talked about this last year, and I thought we already got a scanner.
So
We don't need a $6,000 scanner.
Well, I know, we don't need that, because that's what,
It was
I recall.
from Foster Ford, because what they ended up doing was pretty simple.
Yeah, oil pack and air filter and
So
port
the
plugs.
scan costs 700. What costs 700?
The bill.
The repair.
Total bill.
The repair.
Or the oil pack, spark plugs, air filter, and labor.
What did it cost? I assume they break it down to scan it and know what's going on or not.
The labor was 400 and some dollars.
That would be a great question to Bryson.
Well, I mean, we gotta have a scanner first before we can do it.
Well, wouldn't it be nice to have a recommendation from our lead mechanic?
Yes, but we had talked about this last year about getting a scanner
Okay.
for this particular purpose because it was the same
And
deal.
so why hasn't he got one?
That's what I'm asking right now. It needs to be done.
I don't recall the scanner thing, I recall the program that he was wanting there a few years ago, that was gonna cost like $6,000.
This was just specifically last year. Yes. And like I say, if you go onto O'Reilly's, I was just looking at them before you guys came in. I mean, from how much do you want to spend? Like I say, the one that I had at home, it was like $169 or $168. They got two different ones there. They both do the same thing. They just got different model. To me, that would be a lot better. Somebody pulls pickup in there and says, "Hey, it's running rough. Plug the scanner in, see what's going on," before we make the decision to take it to the repair shop to get it done. I would just soon have it looked at out there first.
So
Okay.
my question would be to Bryson, if they have the ability to rebuild a motor, but they didn't have the ability to scan this, why didn't they just have Foster Ford scan it and then bring it back out and do the work in his shop?
In-house, right?
I mean, it's kind of like going back to the old headlight deal.
Right.
Doesn't make sense. I agree with Mark that if a simple, basic programmer or tuner, not tuner, but scan tool will help with some of those things, he needs to get it bought and if he doesn't know how to run it, let his number two run it. I bet he does. And again, you can share this with him that it doesn't make sense to have it scanned and then have basic repairs done at Foster Ford labor rate. I mean, if they're going to do the work, why do we need him? I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it boils down to.
Like I said, I thought we'd already had it, so we need to
I
get in there.
I don't recall we talked about scanner last year.
Yeah.
But,
Oh, that's
yeah.
yes.
All right. Joe, you got anything?
I have room.
Oh, you got roots?
I have a call from Kenny Schweitzer at 13625 206th Road. 206th Road. He said they took rock out and stopped at McManigle's driveway. And he has a hill that goes down to his driveway that nobody's paid any attention to for several years. And then,
Is that the road we worked on last year, and then that road going off that way looks like a driveway and goes down to his house in Rington?
I think it does go, I don't know, I think it does go down to his house.
Okay, because we looked at that last year, this same place, I don't know
And I
if
don't
I looked at it. We looked at it last year, and when we did that walk there in front, we decided not to touch it because it actually was in bad shape. You know, it was better than some of our
Okay. If you'll check it out, he says it hasn't been maintained since Dan was here, is what he said.
Is that the one that goes R4 and goes back down to the dead end?
It goes down to a dead end.
Dead end, yeah.
Yeah.
It goes right down, it looks like a driveway. So it looks like.
Okay. Go check it out.
I wish.
And then, Rob Karn, okay, where we've been there before, 21600 N Road. Okay, and so I had been out there, you know, they took a load of rock out there by his house and took care of the spot out there. And then they stopped. You know, that was late that one day when we discussed this because I think they were at the wrong place.
Yeah, they were there.
Right, okay, so he says, just so you know, when I said several spots, only the nearest my house got a load of rock. One spot. And then he said, I counted at least 3 on my way west on 214 from O Road to N Road, not to mention the spots on N Road as it turns into 218 Road. And then he sent pictures, and I know it's rained and stuff, but I don't think a grader's been out there either.
Yeah, and I think there where we put the rock in front of his house, Matt looked at all that and said that those other spots were light rock, but not enough to worry about at that time. We will look at it again.
Okay, look at it again,
Can you send me
please.
that text?
Yeah,
A way of make sure I got everything wrote down right here.
okay,
You talk faster than I do.
gotcha. If I can
I
see,
know the feeling.
it's all messy.
I don't have any roads.
The girls did mention this morning though that a lot of the calls are, it's slowed down a lot out there. That's a lot, because it's not raining yet.
So the grader operator down east of Mayetta, down towards south of there, have we got that individual? He's got 1 week left. Is this his last week? And then we'll replace him.
Yes, we've already talked to some folks already about that.
Since we're going to move somebody into that position.
Or if they'll accept it.
If they'll accept
I've already had one that turned it down, so
Okay.
he was interested in it because the money, you know, was there, so. That's all it is. Usually when a grader operator moves into a grader, we usually have you like on a year probation anyway. Before you get
Sure.
adjustments, you know, so.
Okay. And did we move up to W?
We're Paul Rock up there, yes, been there up there today.
Joe was.
And again, everybody we talk to, they're all, you know, it's the wrong time of year on the so we're going to do this anyway. So what I got them doing is, you know, well, those grain bins, well, that guy that's got that machinery shop, and he's got that little spoiler that goes off. That's before the W goes to the nines. So we're working on that.
So you did it?
Instead of the main part of the road, because if we get in those ditches and it is an issue with mud, I would have that short little area have a problem instead of the main road. So we're gonna work on that first before we move out onto the big part of the road. And I know, and I told them, I said, this is where we're at. They want to fix it right. They said, we fixed everything else right. They don't want to come in and half-ass everything else. The road needs to be built up. So that means hauling some dirt in, bringing some dirt in, and raising some of those areas. When you do that, and if we start getting rain and snow, you're gonna muddle. Yep. A huge muddle. Yep. So that's kind of why I want to stay off of the main part of W, and we can deal with that short area, like, I don't know, maybe half a mile, you think? A little spur out there. Yeah. But again.
That little S curve.
Yeah, so we're pulling today, if it's not too muddy, you're supposed to be pulling the ditches in to the road and build the road up, because it's down lower than the ditches. So that's what they're doing today. We hauled rock in there last week, there's hauling rock still today from Atkinson. So we are doing some things up there. I said, I just hate to get caught with our pants down.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
You start building that road up with dirt, well, like I say, you get a rain or snow, and it's just gonna be it's gonna be a nightmare. You're not gonna be able to travel.
And
Snow this weekend.
that's
Yeah.
right here. And the dirt that we have on the east side, I know we ditched part of the west side, the dirt on the east side, they were talking about if we can just pull that up into the road instead of hauling it off. So that would save us some money there too.
And when you roll that dirt up into the road, we're moving the gravel to the right side. There's just for
Yes.
everyone who isn't experienced in this, what that means.
Yes.
And then you're sheep's footing that
Yes,
Uh,
it's the machine's already in there. We're supposed to take over that.
My only question is, you know, I don't have any, I've not gotten any complaints, so, yeah, any concerns. So, all the quarries that we would possibly haul rock out of, we didn't mention the one over in Pot County. Do
That-
all?
That is also owned by Hammond.
Oh, it is, okay, so their one report's going to be good for all their quarries.
He said this one here was sold. Because I told him, I said I was working for Omega and St. Mary's and all roads. And like I said, he got me one for Soldier now. So,
I would imagine, I haven't looked yet, but I would imagine that this is probably online somewhere too at the state site. Yes.
that is.
Yeah, and I mean, for
State.
all of the quarries that the state tests, I would guess that this is probably, a report like this is probably online. I mean, I haven't looked yet, but I
Yeah.
will, but, so we should be able to pull it up and see. Because I would say any quarry that the state pulls rock out of, they're gonna have to test it.
Yeah, there's I think it was KDOT specifications. Is where we found the
Okay,
KDOT stuff. And I think there's aggregate and then 1100 is the series. So there's like a ton of them there. And I believe we're under the 1100 aggregate.
okay.
But does it specifically talk about the hardness of the gravel? In other words, the wear,
That
It's
report.
durability.
durability. Thank you.
Yeah.
Where'd you get
I've
that?
been corrected.
Durability.
But
So-
they call it something different on there too.
Soundness minimum,
sound
wear
durability.
minimum,
Yeah.
composition, blah, 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 so yeah.
And at the time, rather than try to learn what all that meant, the guy just said, yes, it means specs. So, what they're doing.
Okay. Thank you.
To go along with W Road, we also talked to the local people, and so they know what we're doing. We made a little bit of compromises with them, so we can. He has a couple of approaches that we'll have access to still. But they also didn't jump into the ditches because there was some possibilities of power lines and stuff going through there. We had to do 811 again, so.
Okay.
But it's good to go now.
Okay.
Okay. Well, the 811 on the main part of W, we told them that it'd start date like it was one, so. Hopefully, what it holds off. Anyway, the 811 was good for 2 weeks after the plan. And then you have to get redone again for extensions. Okay.
Sounds good, thanks,
Thank you,
guys,
gentlemen.
appreciate it. All right, Todd, what you got today?
You have in front of you two documents. The first one on top, the color is the red line version of the changes. The second one is a clean version, so I didn't know which one you prefer to look at when you're taking a look at the changes. All changes have been accepted as far as what we talked about before, so this is version 3, I guess, call it. So, just gave a copy to Kate, so if you want to bring her down here.
Yes, we can come down. Yeah.
Hey, this is Crystal in the Commissioner's Office. Can you pay for them? Thank you.
Thank you. Ready? Okay. Anybody have any questions over this?
I do.
Okay.
So, give you the page. Page 1, number C. It reads through agricultural use are still required to obtain a certificate of zoning compliance. Red lettered out the occupancy permit. And it says to verify ag use or floodplain compliance. Are we missing one thing in there, and that would be 40 foot off the property line? Or is that stated somewhere else that somebody would have to go somewhere else and find that? Should we not have?
That would be in the actual like zones, like the A1 will have their setbacks and that's listed in there.
So would it make sense to have all requirements, why we're asking for building compliance in the same place, and say, these are the 3 things for an ag building? You gotta determine it's ag, you gotta determine it's not in the floodplain, and you gotta determine it's not within 40 foot off the property line. If we're gonna ask for it, wouldn't it make it easier to find that?
I mean, the 40-foot setback is what you're talking
Yeah,
about?
40 foot
40
setback.
or
40-foot setback is a statutory, isn't
40 or 15, depending on side or front.
it? That's what I
But
mean.
that's within the zone.
Well, yeah, you
Is
get
it-
it, but agricultural uses can't be regulated.
Okay, so that's my question. Is it not, so if somebody wants to build an ag building, put it right on their fence next to it, and then it's determined that it is ag, thank you.
Yep.
So it does not need to be in
They can
there.
put it on okay, so we just found one that there are 3 buildings that a neighbor built on their neighbor's property.
Well,
So is that a civil thing?
that's
We
a
don't-
civil
we
thing,
don't
and-
mess with it.
No. Yeah, so if there's, I mean, the difference, the gloss on that is, yeah, doesn't mean you can build over on your neighbor's line, and it doesn't mean you can go into right of way.
But
So,
we don't enforce that.
well,
In the sense that
yeah,
we don't
we
go
would-
out and say you have to move that building.
we would enforce between 2 neighbors, we don't enforce, we don't touch. If you're in the right of way, and it interferes in any way with public transportation or utilities or anything in the right of way, then yeah, you could say,
You can enforce that.
yeah, you gotta get out of the right of way, because, yeah, so,
Okay.
but if it's like 2 inches over and if that hurting you, then no.
Yeah, I think you answered my question. That was my question in there. If that needs to be there, if it doesn't, great. And then page 2. When we say occupied, not personally occupied, what defined occupied in paragraph or number 2?
Yeah, and I had some issue with that. Because I think that I was moving that sentence as X'd out to say that there's a point at which you've got to have, this certificate done.
Right, they need to have the certificate done
And I was
to
saying.
start.
Yeah. To start, or at the very least, you can't occupy it. Meaning,
Use it.
at the point at which you're using it, then,
Okay.
you can't get there and say, well, we're still thinking about building, or we're building it, and it's just, contractor's not here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is similar to the gentleman who built the building not only in the floodplain, but did get a building permit and is now occupying it because he's operating indoor business out of that. correct? He's occupying
using
it.
it,
That's
yeah.
defined as occupying it, using it. That answers my question.
I have one on page 3, number 3, permit revoked. So it states here that provision regulations may be revoked by the zoning administrator if she finds that prior to completion of the structure for which permit is issued, there's a departure from approved plan specifications and conditions under the terms of the permit. So previously in this, it says that you have to provide a scale drawing of here's where it's going to sit, the setbacks, all that good stuff. So, and being as this is Jackson County, I'm sure that this has happened before. So you're digging a basement, you hit a rock ledge, right? Do they have to then stop everything, come in and say, we want to move this, 3 feet this way because there is no rock ledge over here? I mean, I'm just curious, how does that work on something like that? Does that have to come up through for approval, or is that?
We really haven't had people come and ask for that. Now, when their plans have changed on how big they're gonna make it, they
Right.
come back in and resubmit it.
But something like that is not going to be a holdup, I wouldn't think. If they say,
No.
crap, we hit the rock ledge, we got to move it 3 feet this way, and
No, unless it conflicts with floodplain or
Right.
setbacks or
Right.
something.
Okay.
But generally, that's never really an issue.
okay. I'm just playing Danny, say devil's advocate here on that, because, and then, so that's fine, Danny, on that one. So then another thing that I'm missing in here, we're talking about construction, erection, this, that, the other thing with all the buildings, but I see nothing in here about move-in buildings, which was kind of one of the things that we were, portable buildings, because like I said, I didn't know I needed a permit for that, so does that need to be in here also?
Well, I don't know, I don't remember there ever being anything you guys have really been moving buildings. Meaning,
Well, that's what I'm saying. There is nothing in here, but according to the rules and regulations, I should have gotten a building permit to move the chicken house in, correct?
To bring it in.
If it
I would
exceeds,
think.
Well,
that's
There's nothing in there about square footage at
There you
all.
go.
There's
That's
nothing- there's
where this
nothing
whole
in
thing
there.
started.
Yeah.
We never saw any of that.
So I just want to make sure that we're not going to put this in there and now all of a sudden we got to change it in 2 weeks, because this whole thing started, I thought, with the portable buildings and the Vanderboot deal and all that good stuff. So I want to make sure that if we're going to change this, we're changing it right. 'Cause like I said, I had no idea that I needed a building permit to move the chicken house in. Now, granted, it's only, 150 square feet, whatever it is, it's small.
So
You know.
you all need to decide if you want to do like a minimum square footage required
Yes.
for a building permit.
well, and that is, first off, I mean, there's regulations about the actual movement on county roads, right? Taking a building that's a big building or something, and moving it.
this is just requiring a building.
This is just saying you're bringing it in, you're building it, but it's on skids.
But I'm not building it.
Okay.
I'm moving it in. That's what I'm saying. When this whole thing started, I thought, with the portable buildings, size requirements, and everything else. And I see nothing in here about that. That's what I want to make sure that we're changing it right now, that we need to get it,
And-
figured out.
And I think this was for the fact that there's ag use that is not regulated, number one. So if it truly is a chicken coop for that purpose and it otherwise fits, then it's not regulatable by the zoning.
So I don't need to get a building permit for ag use, is what you're saying.
Well, there's no building permit. What's the building permit? There's a zoning compliance permit.
Zoning compliance.
And if it's just an agricultural building that's being added, then the import of this is that it's not regulated.
Okay. If I'm going to build an ag building, not moving in, if I'm going to build an ag building, I need a building permit, correct?
Because of the floodplain, or we don't care.
Well, I don't know what a building permit is in your context.
Zoning compliance.
Yes.
Okay, let's get that straightened out right there. What are we going to call it?
Zoning
Building permit or
compliance.
zoning compliance? Because 90% of
Zoning.
people are going to call it a building permit.
Zoning compliance.
They're one and the
Okay.
I
same.
mean, it's changing the language and getting everyone used to that language.
Okay.
Well, and I think there's an important distinction though. A building permit has real meaning in city context, meaning they're inspecting it for codes, plumbing codes, wiring codes. If we're doing that, that's a whole.
We're not.
We're not.
We're not.
No, no,
So
no.
all we're looking at here is, are you zoning compliant? And the first question is ag that it's outside of all this or don't worry about it. If it's not, if they are building, that they're putting in a skid building for a shop to do repairs on cars, that's got to have a zoning compliance. So that's it.
So I think the first thing we need to do is determine square footage. Second thing then would be to determine, after that, I guess, just square footage maybe. But for everybody in this county, it's called a zoning compliance application. And if they call it a building permit, let them call it a building permit. But we know what it is, and we know what we're going to do with that. And if they ask, what does that mean? You can explain for ag buildings what that actually means. You can explain what it means for all others. And so I think we need to pick a number of what we think is good.
But before we go on, I want to clarify, because what you just said, if it's ag, you don't need it. And that's
No, that's not what I said.
No, I didn't say you. I didn't say you. I said Don.
Yeah, me.
But
I said
no,
Don. But that, so I think it's
okay.
It's not
What's
understood
written-
that if it's ag, we don't need a building permit or a zoning
It's written
compliance
right here
permit.
though. He just wrote that.
Yeah, that's now the import of this. It wasn't clear before.
And so,
So we're going to say that any ag building, you do not need to come in and get a zoning compliance application or permit, correct?
So who's making that determination?
That's what Todd just said. That's what I'm trying to get credit across. That is what he just said here.
then ask him the question and quit dancing around it. It's simple. It's not up to him, it's up to us.
I agree, but what we just stated publicly, what Todd just stated publicly is you do not need a zoning compliance certificate for ag. That's what he just sat here and said. That's what it doesn't.
But that's not what we're doing. That's not what's written here, Mark. So, I mean, all we're going to say is that all ag buildings are required to get a certificate of zoning compliance to verify ag use
Yeah,
Yep.
and floodplain compliance.
yeah.
Period. That should be the end of the subject.
So now let's go to portables. What are we going to do on those?
Well, the portables, I mean, if you're saying, I want to know that I'm going to get a Rubbermaid 6 foot by 6 foot.
And that's,
thing.
yeah, that's just.
That's not going to.
No.
So let's-
right. Okay, and that would be in the individual zoning zone. Like you have residential, you have 1, 2, 3 residential, you have commercial. You would have different. Those would have minimum sizes or maximum sizes, right? To my mind, square footage, right? So you would say in residential 1, you can only have, your whatever your building is less than 200. Just pick one out, 200 square feet. It's you don't have to worry about it. But if it's over that, then you have to, put it in here. You have to,
So you're wanting to put those minimum requirements within each zone?
I think it isn't. I guess you can tell me. I think the planning theory is that based upon everything that you'll have commercial properties that will be big, are supposed to be bigger, right? And that as opposed to a small residential, and you don't want to have a small residential be able to just dominate with a giant building, right? So you would say that one needs to have a little bitty limit, and the industrial can have humongous buildings. And you don't care if it's, you can't, I'm worried about the fact that you put something in here that says no building X is.
So we'll use the number 800. If we say 800 square foot is the number. If it's less than that, you don't need a building compliance stuff. If it's 801, you're going to be required.
Yeah, and I just think the confusion would be if that says that, and then you have a separate zoning thing that says you can't. There's another square footage on the.
Do you see a problem with having that? Because now you say there is no square footage. requirement?
Well, currently there isn't anything about a minimum square foot
In any of
in
it?
the regulations.
Okay.
And so if
There's
we
nothing
put
in
that,
there about you don't need an application or zoning compliance application if it's under 150 square feet. There's nothing in there like that. So I think that's what you're talking about, is getting something in there for a minimum.
Okay, and then let's, because this is important. What your question is the foundation aspect, right? We're also separately thinking about
what Mark's talking about.
that it's not exactly on, you don't build a foundation, so it's not permanent foundation. Do we have anything on that? Okay.
No, and like I said, I thought that was where this whole thing got brought up, was the portable building aspect of this.
I thought it belonged in a different section.
Part of it, the conversation was that, but
Okay.
part of it was getting rid of some of the terminology in
Right.
here.
Well, is it then would you guys be comfortable, I guess, at this level saying it doesn't matter where it's at, where it is, if it's below 150 square feet and it's not on a foundation, we don't care. I mean, we got to think about this as being.
You can't say it's not on a foundation, it's not a permanent structure because build a pole barn and I make it that way, then, it's to make it smaller.
Permanently
How's
fixed
that?
to the ground.
Permanently affixed to the ground. Yeah.
Yeah, so, that's kind of what I'm looking here and say that nobody, if you put it in here, it just has to be applicable to everything, as opposed to, which don't come to me with a little tiny lot with a house on it that's, something small on there, and it really crowds people out.
We can look at other counties to see what their minimums are.
150 to 200 square feet. Shawnee County's
Douglas County
150
has
square feet.
150 or 200 square foot.
So is it both and, meaning less than 150 square feet and affixed to the ground? Or is it?
I think they're two separate things.
I think it's two separate things. I think you're going to have to be real careful there because some of these, I would almost bet you that some of these tree houses and play sets that you can go buy are bigger than that and they're permanently affixed to the ground. So, there's going to have to be some exceptions to the rules in there, right?
Or we just increase the numbers.
Or we just increase the numbers, however you want to do it. But that's what I'm saying. You got to be careful on that because we don't want to get caught with the people saying, "Oh my God, they're doing dog houses." So, no, we're not doing dog houses. We're not doing playhouses. That's not the whole point of this. So I just want to be careful that we think everything through. But there again, like I said, the whole point behind this, I thought, was getting rid of the occupancy rules and looking at the portable structures for ag buildings. I thought that's what started this whole rigmarole. So I just want to make sure if we're going to change it, let's just do it once rather than come back, 2 weeks later and have to do it again.
It's a fair issue. My perspective was that this was about the ag use issue itself. We had to bring ourselves in compliance with the fact that we weren't controlling ag uses at this point. But I know that was an issue. I didn't know that you had any particular change in mind. The genesis being that people who were finding buildings and the overheads, that doesn't really tell you often whether they have a foundation or not. But are you guys, if it's less than 150, do you just ignore it as far as that is concerned?
I think I'd be comfortable somewhere in that 200.
And here's another point that I'm just going to throw out there. So if anything under 200, is it appraised and taxed? Okay?
Yes.
That's another one because I know that's going to come up.
Yes.
Well, I don't have to have zoning compliance form for it. I don't have to, it shouldn't be taxed. So I just want to make sure that that's
So
out there
does
also.
that follow though? Can you value something that isn't
Sure.
questioned about zone?
So what does zoning have to do with the appraisal?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Well, I know that this question is going to get asked, so I'm just trying to get it out there.
Well, I think that the answer
It
to
is
that
going to be,
is that you could, if you had chicken houses like you're talking about, and you're allowed to have 50 of them, and all of them are below the square footage, then I think that would be valued because you've got a lot of basically a use there, but none of the individual buildings has to have a zoning compliance permit. So the same way too is that if just one of those things does increase the value marginally, and I don't know what your book's saying about that.
So they are, yeah, two separate issues. If it's portable, the appraisal on that would be less, right, because of the movement of it and the structure is portable. So, I mean, if you're just focusing on the zoning, then
Yeah,
I'd
that's,
say big square footage for zoning compliance application purposes.
so that, the final answer is those are two separate considerations for the county.
Okay.
County's valuing everything that it deems to be appropriate value, and that zoning is a separate, and this is zoning.
So like I say, I know that question's gonna get asked, so I just wanna make sure it's brought out.
Okay,
So, okay.
as far as like the appraisal side, you have two people, one person bringing in a 10 by 20 garage or structure, and then putting it on a foundation, getting the zoning compliance, and that structure being put on the tax roll for the appraisal that it's a structure put on a foundation, appraised one way. And you have another person bringing in a 10 by 20 and just putting it on a gravel base, that's going to be appraised at a lower quality. I mean, just to kind of give you that appraisal side of it,
No, I can see
if
that.
that helps.
Okay, so are we comfortable then with setting the limit at our max at 200 square feet? I mean, that's what you had suggested.
I know.
So,
I
mean,
know.
so I'm just trying to get the conversation started so we can talk about this. What do you think,
Okay.
Linda?
It's okay.
Like a little garden shed, those are typically 10 by 12, 12 by 12,
Mm-hmm.
you know, they're,
Right, 10 by 20 is a pretty good size
yeah.
structure.
I mean, it can come in different forms, right?
Right, but
Sizes,
simple
shapes, yeah.
It's-
So, I mean, if we're talking about this, then we'll probably be in 14, section 14 on the first page, new subdivision called F. And it would be an or, meaning you don't need, the exemption is that it's buildings that are less, that are 200 square feet or less. And the second one would be a building, no matter what the size, that is not affixed to permanent foundation on the ground.
Say that again.
So, yeah, well, let's get detailed. So I'm thinking, do we need a foundation, or do we just, we're talking about a pole barn that's affixed to the ground, but doesn't have a foundation? It's poles.
So if it's 200 square feet or less, and you can slide it in, drive it in, push it in, carry it on your back,
Okay, so it's
it, in my opinion, it wouldn't need a compliance.
Right. That's, yeah.
But if it's over that and it's portable, what people consider portable, not affixed to the ground, then it would, so that it could be.
I would do that to make sure that somebody's not putting an 800 square foot portable building within the floodplain.
And that's, and that's why I said, because we have to protect people downstream
Yeah, and then,
and our own our bridges and fences and stuff like that.
how about a 200 square foot, 100 square foot building that is affixed?
Anything under 200 square foot, whether it's concreted in, fixed with cables, fixed with wood poles, however it's fixed to the
So
ground.
it's just 200 square feet, the affixing doesn't matter.
Correct.
Yeah. That would be my opinion.
Mine also.
Okay.
But it's over, and I think there are going to be cases where if we go out, there has to be some flexibility with this. If we send somebody out to do 1/6, 1/7 of all property a year, 1/6, 1/6, and we go out and measures out at 205 square feet. Okay.
We're gonna have a little common sense.
Yeah. If it's 295 square feet, now maybe we just have a conversation and start the process. There's gotta be some, it can't all be black and white as far as, and I know how that.
There's a lot of grace, you know.
Right, there's gotta be some
Yes.
grace in this. And so, I would just ask that be done. But if we can get those two things put into this, I think it's worth doing. I know there are people out there that think it should be higher than this. I get that. But if we're looking at what is standard across the state of Kansas, it's somewhere between 100 and 200 square feet.
And like I say, I wanna make sure, like Commissioner Kelly was saying, that we do have some common sense when we go out and measure that, 5 feet or whatever. And I'm not saying that's a set number, but the appraiser's office does have to have some leeway in that. It's not gonna be that big a deal, because like I say, there's a lot of gray area, and I think that's one of the gray areas, so.
Well, that would be the thing, the separating of the offices.
Right.
Okay, so if we're out doing the data collection part, whatever part of the county we're in, and we're finding this, they're just going to measure and take pictures and bring it back.
Right.
If it's something that is like, wow, something major is going on here, then that would be directed towards the zoning office.
Towards those, yes.
Right,
Yeah.
so,
Give them that information,
yeah,
they can take it from there.
that's,
Yeah.
then it's, then,
Yeah,
right.
I agree.
perfect.
All right.
Were there any changes to the body of this?
As far as the red lines, I think that's fine. I don't see any other thing that needs to be changed.
I wanted to point something out here because, so the issuance of the zoning compliance
What page?
application, page 3, number 2.
Okay.
The shall be issued or refused by the zoning administrator within 10 days from the receipt of the application. Sometimes that's not doable.
Okay, what's the time?
And I know that time is of the essence with some of these, but making it a shall, sometimes we're waiting on Northeast Kansas environmental, sometimes we're waiting on the site plan, sometimes we're waiting on things that
Should
they
be a
haven't.
good word to put in there.
Yeah, something, I mean,
May,
little leeway because sometimes we don't get all the stuff.
Yeah, should would be good.
Should.
Shall, should, may.
should it, okay, so then should it say after the receipt of the application and all applicable reports?
A complete application.
How about that? I
Yeah,
mean, that's,
And then if somebody says, well, what's a complete application, then you can explain it to them, what you're
when you're trying to get it in.
what you're waiting on as a zoning officer. Hey, we gotta wait for these other agencies to do their thing.
And
receipt of
approval by,
and it could be the zoning administrator or someone that zoning administrator designates. I don't know if that's.
Zoning administrator or their deputy, whatever, however that is. I
or
don't know.
designate.
Or,
Yeah. Okay. All right, clear as mud, guys.
All right.
Good discussion.
Okay.
Version 4.
Yeah.
Coming.
Go.
Okay, we still got some stuff to visit. So I do want to go back and revisit the denial of revitalization for the gentleman last week. After our meeting, I had a conversation, he called me. I don't know the guy, I've never met him. But he indicated to me two things. One, that he had sent in the documentation, the spreadsheet. That was emailed to the appraiser's office. And I think it took a little while to find it because it was redirected from the same email that he was sent. And only after him calling, it was found in the administrative email. That's
After we sent out the letter.
okay, right.
Yeah.
You had sent the letter out to him, and he
Yeah.
went, wait a minute, I've already sent this back. So that's one thing. The other is the signature sheet. He indicates to me, and I believe he indicated to you, that he mailed it.
I think he told me that he did.
Okay. When he called me, he said, look, we mailed that to the office. So, in my opinion, if someone is telling me that they mailed it, and we understand how the mail service works, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and believe that they mailed it. Why would you go to all the work to fill out that data sheet and not send in a simple signature sheet? So my suggestion is that we reestablish this with this gentleman and his wife, and they be allowed to participate in this. Because I have to believe when anybody, I want them to have the benefit of the doubt that they're telling the truth until they prove otherwise. In these other cases that we've talked about, they didn't send any information in, none whatsoever. Or they didn't pay their property taxes. Correct me if I'm wrong. Those are the situations with the other ones that we've denied. So it's my suggestion that we reinstate the revitalization for this gentleman down there.
And I here again, as I said last week, I sympathize with you. I truly do. I understand the mail system. But if it's this vital and this important, I would have driven from Point Mayetta or wherever up here and handed it in along with the spreadsheet. I cannot in good conscience say, yeah, put him back on, because then forever how long we've had revitalization on, we're going to have to go back and revisit every single case and look at that. I can't in good conscience do that. And I feel for the gentleman. But now here's the case too. He says he mailed it in. Have you received anything yet? So if we receive it, pardon me?
I haven't checked the mail yet today.
Okay. If we receive it and it's postmarked as December 26th, whatever, we'll find it dandy.
2 points.
Uh-huh.
Point one is, it's not practical for everybody to get in their car during the day and drive up here and hand something over. So, my other suggestion is also that we instill or put into place DocuSign. It's not rocket science to figure some of this stuff out, where an individual can do DocuSign and not have to mail it or not have to drive up here to do this business. Not everybody has that kind of flexibility in their work schedule that they can get up here to the courthouse. Again, I have to give people the benefit of the doubt. I'll go back to the gentleman out west who didn't fill out the building permit and all that kind of stuff. We talked about some things, and I said, and I think you brought up some issues moving forward, and I said with him even, I would have to give him the benefit of the doubt that he's telling the truth as we move forward. I think when we start to tell people, I don't believe you right out of the gate, I think that's just not good customer service. But that is what you're saying when you say we can't allow him to have that.
No, that
If
is-
he had
that
not
is-
sent anything in, Mark, I would agree with you. And those are the cases you say we've got to go back and revisit all these cases. The ones that we have denied, they either did not send in any information, or they didn't pay their property tax.
Okay.
End of
I
subject.
did not say, I'm going to state this, and I want
Okay.
you to hear me. I did
Okay.
not say I did not believe the gentleman.
Okay.
That is not what I said.
Okay.
Okay? If you will go back and look.
Point taken. I'll take that
Okay.
back.
All right. If you go and look at what's going on right now, you send your taxes in, and they're not received by such and such a date. I'm talking federal taxes, state taxes, whatever. guess what? It doesn't matter if it's a mail service or not. They say they are not responsible for it. Okay, that's the federal and state government. They're not responsible for it. It's your responsibility to get things in on a timely fashion. I cannot take responsibility for the mail service. And I did not say that he's not trustworthy, he's not reliable, he's not whatever. All I said was that I cannot, in good conscience, reinstate him and his family if we don't go back and do the same thing and review every other single one of them and say, well, I put it in the mail.
What would we review? Tell me what cases we're going to review.
How long has revitalization been going on and how many cases have been denied?
3 years?
Revitalization's been going on a little longer than that, hasn't it?
Not countywide, not since we redid it.
Well, 2015.
Right, but we redid this and made it countywide and did since it was updated, maybe 3 years?
Well, the updated, yeah.
Okay. And to your point of what the federal government and what the state does, we are the legislative
We're the
body.
governing body.
And therefore,
Yes,
we have the ability to take case by case. We cannot just across the board. So I'm going to move that we reinstate the revitalization program. And if you want the guy's name, I can give it to you. I don't want to say his name. I don't think it's fair to him. But we would reinstate that beginning today. We have a motion on the floor.
Have you had any other cases that were this way, just the signature that you haven't had? You had everything else
other-
with signature.
Okay, hang on. There's a motion on the floor. There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
There's a second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to reinstate the revitalization for the gentleman that was denied, gentleman and his family that were denied last week. Any further discussion? Now go ahead.
So none of the other cases have been where you just not have a
Received
signature?
one part of the completed requirements, completion requirements. So they just didn't turn in that sheet with the signature and the total expenditure. That's what they didn't turn in.
Other cases, not this one.
This one just turned in part of it, not the complete.
Just not the signature.
Not just part of it, but a very small piece of it, a signature sheet. The most important piece was, in my opinion, was the sheet listing all the materials and what he's done and all those kind of things. And the other piece of this is that we had an opportunity to reach out to him and say, hey, we're missing it, email, whatever. So,
Okay,
And so was it turned in a timely manner?
It was turned in on the 12th, so January 12th, and they had until January 15th. So that document was turned in on the 12th without
the signature sheet.
the signature sheet.
Okay, I'm going to ask a question for what you just stated, that the appraiser's office didn't reach out to them when they knew that they didn't have a sheet for them.
Right.
I have a former treasurer sitting here. I have a current treasurer sitting out there. If somebody doesn't pay their taxes, do you reach out to them? They haven't paid them by the day before the deadline. Do you reach out to each individual taxpayer and say, hey, you didn't pay your taxes. You might want to come up there and do this tomorrow?
Not the day before the deadline, but, afterwards we'd send out reminders.
Afterwards.
Yes, that's,
Okay? That's the way it is? So for each individual office to try to, I understand that the revitalization has X amount of people in it, so it might be a little easier, but where do we draw the line? Where do we draw the line at, is what I'm saying. That's my point. And there again, I cannot in good conscience, let me ask a question real quickly. The instruction sheet, when he filled out for revitalization, did he sign it? That he acknowledged all of the instructions and when the deadlines were and everything else?
Yes.
Okay. So, there again, I cannot in good conscience say that I would approve this, so the motion's on the floor, it's been seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of reinstating for revitalization, say aye.
Aye.
I just feel like we need to
Okay, it's
try to have,
it's been called for the vote.
okay. Yes, I vote for it.
Okay, all opposed, same sign. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Would the chair entertain an explanation?
Do what?
With the chair entertaining.
I didn't need an explanation. I thought that we had, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
You
I'm
did
sorry,
great.
I just feel like the more we can try to have customer service, you know, I would call him back, I would call him and tell him we've done this, but I think maybe we should say, you know, we need this signature within so many days. We're giving you time to get the signature up here.
So, along the customer service part. So, we're gonna do things differently in our office, and I recommend maybe the clerk's office and the treasurer's office come up with a procedure that when these things happen, that we have a set procedure and we know by date and initials of who has helped this person with what, since this is such a significant issue that keeps coming up every year at this time, okay? That we will have maybe possibly a checklist for the people that when we explain it, that they understand that these are the dates and this checklist will need to be signed, initialed by us, the person that helps them, and a copy of that goes in their file. We can create a file for them to take home with them so they have all of their ducks in a row. And then they get a copy, we get the copy of that checklist that they understand. Now that first application has their signature saying that they understand that they've read the resolution. I guess to make it very clear. And then we'll have a file sheet on hand that we can have somebody go over all of these things to make sure that, and two, that in these cases, I think there needs to be an appeal process like what is happening here, because we're human beings and people in the offices, if we're missing a document that they're supposed to return, I mean, we're human, and sometimes, especially when it's close to the cutoff date, that we're not emailing them or calling them, telling them that they need to get these things turned in.
I mean, you know, when I went to write the checks, if I didn't have the signed sheet, I came to your office, got a copy, sent it to them and said, I need this signed before I will mail you the check. I had always done that.
I think two things need to be changed within the office and then moving forward when we have a zoning administrator. First thing is DocuSign. It's the easiest thing in the world to set up. Get it set up so that an individual doesn't have to drive up here. They don't have to waste 65, 70 cents on the mail. We don't have to worry about the mail. Got an email? DocuSign. Boom, it's done. The second thing is establish an email address that deals with revitalization only. Instead of sending from administrative, so you guys understand, the administrative email that was sent out to this gentleman, he responded. Wouldn't you typically respond back?
We responded back to him on that.
But there was only 2 people that are allowed into that. This should be allowed. Anybody in the office, somebody should be designated to check that, especially this time of the year, every day, twice a day, or 3 times a day. And so, reestablish an email so that those things aren't done. The only reason you responded back to him, though, was because he responded to the letter that you're out, we didn't get an email. And only when somebody, in his words, he had sent it 2 weeks prior to that.
We received it on January 12th.
The email.
The email with the
I understand that, but 2 weeks after that, he had gotten a letter saying he was out. That's when he received it, and he called up there and said, I sent you this to this email address. I have the email right here.
There again, we're human beings, and we get those spreadsheets for a various number of reasons.
Right.
Okay, so having one of us go and check that file to make sure, they didn't turn that in, and now we're calling them to make sure that they've turned in all their documents.
You don't even have to call them. You just email them.
That's fine, and we can do